Today's episode is sponsored by Dragon's Den, Games and Hobbies. You can visit them at 552 Main Street in Honesdale, PA, or call them at 570-647-4633.
The Dragon's Den, where gamers unite. Spice the owner in Honesdale under neon lights. Video games, board games, cards at every site. A haven for all, where fun takes flight. Come join the quest in this gaming paradise, where dragons roam free under endless skies. Adventure awaits with every roll of the dice. In Dragon's Den, where the magic never dies. From retro classics to the latest trend, dive into battles with allies and friends. Strategize your moves till the very end. In this realm of games, the fun never ends. Gather round for events galore, a place of joy like never before. Come join the quest in this gaming paradise, where dragons roam free under endless skies. Adventure awaits with every roll of the dice. In Dragon's Den, where the magic never dies. Unleashing the hive, metal tools will be waiting. Join us on the journey, gaming is engaging. NTT Gaming, our mission never raging. From pixels to dice, we discuss it all. The thrill of victory, the bitterness, defeats fall. Strategies, campaigns, and characters stand tall. I love for the games, both big and small. Through pixels and cards, our friendship will sprawl. Join us on the journey, gaming is engaging. NET Gaming, our mission never raging. Malaysian. From pixels to dice, we discuss it all. The thrill of victory, the bitterest defeats fall. Strategies, campaigns, and characters stand tall.
What's going on, everybody? How's it going tonight?
I guess I'm buying Aaron a Switch
Yeah.
too.
Rumor has it. I don't know where he heard that rumor from, but he heard it. It's in space now. We know what's happening. Must
Sure,
be
Aaron.
true.
I'll just pony up the $500 for the Switch too. That's exactly what I'll do.
Yeah, why don't we start there? Because that's the big news. That news dropped today, didn't it? The price
Dropped
point
yesterday, but
was
yeah,
yesterday.
whatever.
So that's going to be $450 for the Switch 2.
$449.99, and I am kind of disgusted with the price. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Tell me why. Why are you disgusted with the price?
I don't know. I mean, it better impress the hell out of people. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, it's Nintendo. It does have the ability and the pedigree to do such a thing. Nintendo has not really been one of those consoles that's really let people down, except for the Wii U. But even in the Wii U in its own right was pretty impressive for what was going on. Take in consideration that this is the first time you really saw a handheld enter the video gaming world with a touchscreen on it. But people were just like, it didn't have the game library. It didn't have this with it. It didn't have that with it. Yeah, okay, but it still did its greatness. Every console has had a console that's kind of flopped or not really been there, like praising things. But, you know, when you look at something like Nintendo was just getting off of the 3DS world, and we're switching over to coming in with the Switch, which was going to be your handheld home console all in one. You could take it with you. That was incredible. Now even Microsoft is looking at the handheld world and being like, we're getting left behind. But I think Microsoft wants to focus more on games and less on the consoles. I think that's kind of where their plan is. They always knew they had the PC world on lock, and that's been impressive for them. Same with Sony with the PSP, the Vitas, and all that stuff. I mean, we've covered it 100 times with like PS2, PS3. But really, when the PS3 dropped, it really did not win over hearts and minds. They knew with the PS4 they had to win, and that's exactly what they did with it. Going back to the PS4 days, you even have to remember that system when it came out was impressive. It was incredible, and they won the gaming console wars with it.
Yeah, and I think as far as Sony goes and Microsoft goes with the handheld part of things, you know, like you said, Sony's already ventured out into that world. They had the PSP, they had the PS Vita, and I mean, it's a thing of the past. Nobody really like it didn't take off. You know, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, I think the handheld thing is definitely more of a Nintendo thing. And honestly, everyone's got games on their phones, their tablets now. Even with the Switch, I don't see many people using it on the go anymore. I really don't see it.
I mean, it's one of those things like, you know, I could see a lot of kids taking it out, but then people being like, I don't want to lose this or get stolen or whatever. I don't want my Switch stolen, so I don't leave the house with it. It's kind of like that old thing about don't let your kids take Pokemon cards to school, but they do it anyway, and then they're crying that they can't, you know, I lost all my cards, and they're like, well, the school's not going to do anything because they told you first up not to bring them.
Or they traded one and they didn't want to trade it. Someone, you know, coaxed them into it. It's like, well, you know, shouldn't have brought them to school. So back to the price of it though. $450 right now. You could go up to your local Walmart even and buy a PS5 for $450. But so but here's my question to you. Okay, so you talk about how Nintendo's right up there with the big boys, and you think that even Nintendo might be, you think it might even be a little bit bigger than PlayStation and Xbox because it's the family console, right? So if it's up there and it's competing with the big boys, why is it that $450 is a high price to you? Is it because the tradition of Nintendo?
Also been affordable. If you remember when the GameCube dropped, they were like $50 or $100 cheaper than everybody else. I mean, I'm probably not surprised. Maybe I'm just saying that, you know, I just expected it to be a little lower than that. I mean, I didn't expect a $200 console by any means. Don't think that I sat there and said, oh, it should be $200. No, that's not right at all. I don't expect that at one bit. Maybe that is a good price anymore. Maybe I'm just being that the sticker shock kind of hit me of that. But then again, when PS3 dropped, it was like $400 and everybody gasped and, you know, women clutched their pearls and men, you know, fainted in the aisles.
That's just the way of the world right now. Right. You know, it's the way the economy is. I mean, when the PS5 came out, I think I paid like $820 for the bundle that I got. Like it wasn't just the console. Granted, it came with the 2 games. It came with store credit and something else, a PlayStation store credit as well. But I mean, still, it's like $800 for a brand new console. And if the Nintendo Switch is almost $500 with this, the Switch 2, imagine the next gen of Sony, the next gen of Microsoft console.
I mean, the days of going to McDonald's and eating McDonald's for $5 is over.
Yeah.
That's just done. You can't go to McDonald's anymore for $3 and get what you used to. It's just the way of the world, you know. I mean, I guess I took like, you know, one of the kids here to remind me, and he's like, it's just how things are going. You know, the Mario Kart game is going to be like what, $80? Mario Kart Worlds. I mean, but people are going to buy it. Pokemon's going to be 70 or 80, but they're going to buy it. It's just the way it is.
And I think that's the part that's a little more wild to me is the cost of the games themselves. Because I mean, the console's one thing, and you know what? Again, while it seems like a higher price, it's still less than the other big consoles, right?
Yeah.
But a PS5 game is $70. You would think that a Switch game would be a little bit less than that, $55, $60. So I think the cost of the games, even more so than the console itself, is what surprises me. Because the console is still cheaper, but the games are right on par with the other ones.
It is. And it's going to be your console for the next, 6 or 8 years?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not like Nintendo comes out with one every couple of years here. They don't do that.
Well, it's also, you said right now, go up to Walmart right now and buy one for about $500 now for a PS5. PS5's been out for 5 years now?
Yeah.
People seem to forget that. That didn't come out 2 weeks ago. It's been out for some time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe put that in consideration. Yeah. I mean, people even like the Retron 5 that I sell. That's
awesome console, by the way.
It is. And I mean, that's 180. But I mean, like, or like, I believe whatever the price I have it at right now, I think it's like that 150, 160. But even people say, I mean, like, that's ridiculous. And I said, yeah, but think about everything it does. I guarantee you.
Will you still be able to play
yes.
the regular Switch games on the new console? I did read that it is backwards compatible. That's one of the big things that they're boasting. It's backwards compatible, so you can play the original Switch games on it.
But a big thing with like the Retrons that I sell, and I love that, is the game consoles. You know, like once you bought that game, you have that game forever.
Mm-hmm. As long as you take care of it, anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's your whole.
Yep, and there's ways to clean them, ways to fix them, and there's always going to be more games out there. Yeah, the old retro consoles, you're not going to get anything new, but like I learned from going to yard sales and flea markets as a kid with my parents, all the way up to the Scranton Comic-Con, these places will always have old video games for you to buy. You can start a collection, man.
And I mean, like, that's what Nintendo's big boast, where like this new one was going to be, was like the boasting is always, or our Nintendo network's going to be huge and it's going to have all this in it. It's going to do all this. And I said, I'm still waiting for the big bombshell that they're going to drop, because that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. Aaron says hopefully they boost the online game library for the Switch online retro games.
I mean, that's what everybody's kind of hoping for too.
Yeah.
A big thing that they're trying to do, and the big thing Nintendo's going to do, is they've already said that Z to A, and the problem with Z to A is they did the Kada, Tada, here it is, it's going to be incredible. And a lot of people said, oh, that's it. And Nintendo kind of went, what? And a lot of the talk here was, oh, it was neat. And I mean, for that game to come out and be like, how much you worked on it, and people just go, it was neat.
It was neat. Do you think that people are eventually going to get burnt out on Pokemon?
No.
You don't think so? I mean, yeah, it's huge, and they always have more to work with because they're always putting out more stuff and creating new Pokemon and all that. But
Pokemon as a whole it's worth more than some countries like GDP.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's just repeating the same game over and over again with new storyline, like new characters,
COD,
it's basically the same thing.
Madden, Battlefield.
Yeah, but what do those what do all those have in common?
Nothing.
Most of them are like multiplayer games,
and that's pretty much where Pokemon's going to go.
See that? Do they have that yet? Where you can go into an online world and like train and battle other Pokemon trainers and go to gyms like in an online setting?
It's not that you get to do these like these battles, and like I think you get to bring your friends with them or just random people, and you get to battle it out and that kind of stuff. But I could see Pokemon eventually getting to a spot where like it's you and your friends walking around a world and like and doing that. I could definitely see that being a thing.
See, I think that would be cool. Aaron says
Correct.
Pokemon's like
it
Santa
is like
Claus.
Santa Claus. It will live forever.
So, I mean, that's a really cool idea, though. You see a lot of these games now, like you get the online MMO kind of deal, right? So you do Pokemon in that kind of style, where you go out into this server, into this world, collect your Pokemon, battle PvP other players on the server, and just have your fun that way. I think that would be a great experiment. I mean, again, Nintendo, I'm sure it's tough. They don't really do stuff like that, do they?
They will. You've seen a lot more multiplayer modes coming out. They realize that is the world of gaming right now. The world of gaming right now is just where we're going. Love it, hate it, however you feel about it. If you hate it, if you don't like it, whatever. Online with this stuff is just the way the world's going.
Well, it's the new version. It's the new version of the sleepover at your friend's house on the weekends, with the pizza party, your Mountain Dew, your pizza, your chips, Doritos, whatever it is. And you sit there and game on the N64. You got the cardboard over the TV. This is the new version of it.
Well, that's all it is, was the GameCube or the N64, where you bring your Domino's pizza over, your mom, whatever, rented 2 games from Blockbuster and your friends came over. It was 1999 and it was a wonderful time. And unfortunately, those days are gone. You know what I mean? Like, You know, Jeffrey the giraffe with his little scooter that says the world you grew up in is kind of dying. Sorry, that's the way it is. That's, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember buying a GameCube from Sears. Who would have thought Sears would ever be gone? But here we are.
Man, I remember. Oh my God, yes, I remember being in Sears and trying out the original PlayStation for the first time. Remember when they used to have the little demo stations? Trying out that for the first time, and I was a Nintendo kid. I was young, but I was a Nintendo kid. So seeing this controller with all these different symbols on it, I was like, "This is weird. This is very weird." But yeah, that stuff was cool, man. And Sugarman's trying the Nintendo games at Sugarman's. That was cool.
But I think the big thing everybody kind of forgets or pokes at is that Nintendo has always been they do the one thing and they do the one thing well. Like, you already know that there's going to be a big Mario game coming. I mean, Mario Kart Worlds is coming out June 5th for it. You know, this thing is dropping June 5th. Everybody's excited for it. Is it going to sell out? Of course it is. Is it going to be, you know, amazing? It's going to be great. Do you know what's really amazing is Nintendo is actually beating the scalpers, because the first wave of reservations, you have to have a Nintendo World account for 12 plus months. You have to have certain credentials in your Nintendo account, direct thing, for them to even consider you to be taking this thing. And you're only allowed one. You can't be one of those people rolling in and trying to buy 15 and then hawk them up on eBay for 18 times the asking price. They're trying to stop that.
So
I'll say it right now, and I'm glad I did it. I turned away scalpers opening day for Pokemon Journeys Together. I turned away scalpers at the door. I turned away money. The guy offered to buy my whole selection for like 3 times the asking price, and I turned him down.
Holy crap.
I will do it every time.
Yeah, because you know he's going to make a fortune off of it. He's just going to ruin it for everybody else.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that's good of you. I like that, because it's about the community. It's about the players.
Players first.
Yeah.
Community first, players first. Junior League trainers can come to my store, go through the bulk bins, fill up a bag, and they could take bulk cards. Everything is sold at MSRP, and everything is sold at the what it should be. I turned down scalpers at the door. The guy called me crazy, and I said, "I sure am. Obviously, you don't know me well enough."
You know,
I will do the same thing for the next set that comes out. I will do the same thing over and over.
You should. I like it.
I am. Well, yeah, that's what you do. You run a game store, you run a community.
So what I find funny about the whole Mario Kart thing too, I was just thinking about this as you were talking about it, is, you know, new Mario Kart, you're going to get new maps. You'll probably get some new racers and everything. You know, it's Mario Kart. There's not really much you can do with it. But even still, with all of that, like, you're not going to get an incredible graphics. It's Nintendo. It's Super Mario. It's Mario Kart. It's compared to the other companies, it's just not the same. But
but Corey, I'm not buying a Switch 2 for the graphics.
I know, but here's my point. You're not getting much extra with a new Mario Kart game. You're getting some new tracks. You're getting some new racers. And what's everybody going to clamor for? They're going to clamor for a couple of those OG tracks that they remember from when they were young.
But I can see them doing map packs. I can see them doing DLC packs.
Yeah, making that extra money, selling the same old game to the customers that bought the new game.
Correct. But people will do it.
It's a wild industry, man. It really is. It's crazy.
Love it, hate it. That's how we roll with it, my friend.
Oh my God.
I mean, the Switch 2 is going to be beautiful. It looks sleek. It looks beautiful. It's got a big, gorgeous screen on it. The games are going to be impressive. You're not buying Nintendo. You're buying Nintendo because you want to play Mario Kart, Fire Emblem. You want to play your Mario games, your Pokemon games on it. Your
Zelda games.
Zelda, whatever that comes out. That's what you're going to play for. That's what you're doing. I mean, we just had Adaptation here for, my realm. That's like, they do PAX Unplugged and they do all that stuff where it's like board game miniatures. And I mean, like, everybody's showing off their new stuff this year. And I got to say, the TCG world, the miniature world, looks a lot better than the video game world does look right now.
Does it?
I think so.
Got my light. Had to play with my light. I just looked into my background and I'm like, wow, that's really dark. Why is it so dark back here?
But
Oh,
I mean, you're going to see Pokemon have a bigger thing. You're going to see, Warhammer's coming out with 1,000 things. You're seeing 100,000 new things coming in. And I mean, we're starting our podcast in May. I mean, when I say end of April, beginning of May, we're going to have our podcast up and going.
that's
We
awesome.
are even expanding. I'm looking at storefronts over in like Moscow, Dunmore area too. I mean, we're looking to expand. I have
what? That's an important word to me. Expand, not move. Correct?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, there was a time, I think there was a Friday, I had standing room only and I wasn't even running any events. And I'm like, where's everybody from? And I had people like Dunmore, Scranton, Moscow, Lake Ariel. And I was like, well, Lake
Nice.
Ariel, you're not that far, but the rest of them. And I was like, fine, I'll just throw a store over there.
Heck yeah. That's good, man.
Trying.
I'm proud of you for that. That's really cool.
We'll see what happens.
People go where they're treated well. That's all there is to it.
Back in
So
the
it
dark
says a lot
ages.
about you and your store and the people that are in there. So that's cool.
But we need to talk about the more important thing. That Final
What's it?
Fantasy VI is 31 years old yesterday.
It is.
Final Fantasy VI is 31 years old. There's kids in my store right now that are like 16, and I was like, this thing is like, I don't know. Trying to explain Super Nintendo sometimes is hard.
Yeah. It's one of the consoles I didn't have as a kid. It's one of the consoles I didn't get to have. But 6 is arguably one of the most popular titles in the franchise. It's down to that and 7, right? And a lot of people say that 6 had the better story.
6 did have the better story.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also on the theme with Nintendo because it came out on the Super Nintendo. That was the first drop. And Final Fantasy was going to stay on Nintendo till 7 and Sony announced their thing that they were going to buy, go on the PS1, and that was crazy. This was the last game to be on the consoles. It was wild. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where Kefka was a better villain than Sephiroth because Kefka actually won. Take that consideration. Sephiroth didn't win.
See, I have to play back. I got to play it. I have to play it now. I always hear that it's a better story and again, better villain.
Now
I got to play it.
It's a long game. This is not a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to take like 3 months. It's like a month and a half to beat it.
Good. That's what I like in a game. I like a game where I get my money's worth out of it.
You're going to take it chunk by chunk and you're going to just, and that's what you do. Cause there's like so many replayable characters. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and this is the last of a generation as well.
This is the last. This was the last one to be the pixel sprites before we went to 3D rendering and we got Cloud and Squall and Titus and Zidane and all that stuff. That's where this kind of started. This started with the reign of like, and people wanted to go back to the pixel thing, I guess you can say. People like the fact that the older stuff feels better. Pokemon's got a whole thing where they do not like the new like 3D guy walking around. They actually do prefer the pixel style of going back to the way things were. And people are like, you got to get with the times. And I'm like, yeah, but if the times suck and the game glitches and it's not fun, but this one does, what's the problem?
Yeah, I love that old style, man. That's why I started to play Pokemon as a kid too, is because of the Final Fantasy games.
Well,
I love that style.
Look at the whole sake of where Pokemon started back in like what, 98, 99. You were the little sprite walking around in Pallet Town. The many shades of your future awaits. A land of hopes and dreams begin. Let's go.
Before Game Boy Color.
Your Game Boy Color with your 4 AA batteries that you stole from the remote of your dad being pissed off at you because, he's trying to turn the channel on the TV. Because Michael took all the batteries out of them to play his Game Boy that drained batteries faster than the Chernobyl plant ate up radiation.
You had to be smart though. You only take 2. You only take half. You only take 2 because it gets you a little extra time. But
my
you switch half.
My dad drove to Sears and bought me the wall adapter and just said, "Here, you're not going to take batteries anymore."
That's awesome.
You see this pale skin? Do you think I saw sunlight as a kid? Absolutely not.
Tell you what, man, those Game Boys, they really they made long road trips so much better. I don't know what I would have done as a kid.
Now you give kids today the TV and all that, the remotes and crap like that, just to shut them up in the back seat. What do you think my dad did? That was a shut little Michael up.
Yeah. Oh, we're there already? No way.
Yes, way. With the frizz, no way.
Yeah. So since you are big on Final Fantasy VI, we're celebrating the 31st anniversary yesterday. What is your favorite thing about that game? What makes it so great?
Yeah, Chris, can you help? Sorry.
Okay.
Six
Do your thing, working man.
Yeah. 6 is one of those games that came out in the times where a lot of games for like the Super Nintendo was not like, impressing me a lot. I guess you could say as a kid. We had the Mario games. We had Yoshi's Island. There was a few other games that came out that were like, it was the first time I really got into RPGs, and it was the one that was like, holy crap. It was wild. It was something new. It was a game where you bought it and you really fell in love with the characters, the story, and it was one of those games, like you said, you want to get your length out of it? Absolutely. This is one of those games that came in, and for like, it took me literally months to beat for how much story was involved in it. And you got to remember, this is not DLC. This is not a time of like, you had to buy half the game and then the other half of the game comes out 6 months later. So,
yeah. Thanks, Marissa.
You're welcome.
She said couldn't leave Aaron to just run the chat.
Thank you, Marissa. That was very kind of you.
In the front row. Yeah.
But that was it was a different time. It was a different place. That was a good time. It was, my cousin always said it was the game that he finished beating before he left for college. And then it was like one of those games that I was playing right before, like, I think I did like middle school or like elementary school. I was still in there playing. It was fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kefka was a big thing. Like, Kefka was like the main villain who, like, won. And then later on, when 7 came out, that game was wild. 7, 8, and 9 were considered to be the god tiers, the bigger Final Fantasy games. That was wild, crazy, and fun. And now it's like the new Final Fantasy games are like, it's all online now. This was not online. This was like a whole single player. If you like, how'd you get the ninja? Oh, he was in a sandworm in the desert that you had to fall down the right hole and pick him up. How'd you get the Moogle? Well, you had to go to the ice cave after the Espers get killed by Kefka, and you had to do this. How'd you get this guy? There was like 30 playable characters you could do for Final Fantasy. It was wild.
See, that's different, man, because that's not something that you get in any Final Fantasy game. That's a lot.
It's not.
That's nuts. Did you use a strategy guide for that game when you were a kid?
Hell yeah, I did. I bought a Nintendo Power because there was no other way to beat that game without that. You lost, like, your finished game. There's like up to 30 playable characters. 30 playable characters. My guy, I found like 12 my first go through. I'm like, where's the rest?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because there's the way you're saying it, there's certain events that have to happen in order for each one to be found.
Of course you did.
So that sounds exciting. Yeah, I'll have to play through it. But I had the Nintendo Power for the original Final Fantasy, and I remember before I beat the game, I was absolutely furious because my dog at the time chewed up the bottom right corner.
Thank you so much.
And just destroyed half of the book. So, like, I'm sitting here, little old me. I don't remember how old I was, 8 years old, 9 maybe, trying to figure out how to beat this game. And I couldn't. And I was mad at the dog for it.
He was knee-high to a grasshopper.
I believe it or not, at one point in time, I was small. I was.
Do you know it comes out on May 9th?
No.
Do you?
No. What comes out on May 9th?
You're going to want to come down for it.
Yeah? What is it?
Universe's Attack on Titan Apocalypse is the last of the Attack on Titan set.
Ooh. Any nice ones going to be in that?
Oh, there's a lot of nice. Yeah, they're already, if you pull a couple cards, they're already a couple $1,000.
Oh, thinking back to Final Fantasy 2. I just saw something today or yesterday about some what was it? Some images of the characters for a remake. Are they doing a remake or are they doing a remaster for that?
A remake of which one?
9. Zidane. They showed images of Zidane and Garnett.
Okay. Here's the problem. They said remake of 9, and the guy said, well, first they wanted 6. And the guy said, no way in hell, no way on earth. That would take too long. We can't do that. We'd be at it for years. But 9 has been on the rumor block for years now, too. Because 9 isn't that long of a story. You can get it pretty cut, quick, and clean. I hope they do. I really hope they do. I hope it's gorgeous and perfect and wonderful, and it's everything I ever wanted and more out of it. I want to see a little better VB walking around. I want to watch Beatrix beat our asses for the 8th time because you realize you're fighting the general of the army. I want to listen to melodies of life as the Iffa tree explodes with mist and, I want to see, Kuja get, kill Garland and all this fun stuff. I want to see this stuff. I want to see a more updated thing. I think it tells a better story than 7. But 7's the edgy kid sitting in the corner. I got news for you. The last 7 remake didn't do so hot.
No, but 9 was really cool because it had that fantasy feel to it. And it gave a lot of nods to the older parts of the series as well.
Well, you're going back to fantasies and crystals and dark mages and white mages and knights and brawlers and all that stuff. And it was a nice homage where people wanted steampunk and dirty. Not everything has to be steampunk and dirty.
Right, and it's very cool. I really hope that they do. I really hope that they do that and bring us a new version.
Switch 2 is probably going to have, Blood Bowl, like it was a Bloodborne 2 they're going to put on it.
Neat.
Everybody got excited for that. Nintendo doesn't have to do a lot right now. Nintendo is not playing catch up. Nintendo doesn't owe anybody anything. Nintendo just sits back, prints Pokemon cards, makes $1 trillion, and makes a new Switch. This is what you're going to be able to do. It's going to have facial recognition on the damn thing.
Really? No way.
Damn Skynet. That's what the thing is coming to. Skynet. Do you believe that crap?
Yeah, we're all doomed. AI is learning.
Yeah, we are.
We're all toast.
The hell we are. They were immediately when the prices started dumping, you can see the prices. You're amazing. I want you to know that.
This guy right here. Are you sure you're talking to the right guy?
Yeah.
Some people might argue that point, but I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Sometimes I need to hear it. So thank you. All right. Do we have anything else that you want to touch on today?
No, we can make this a short one today. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover.
Okay. See, I like that, though. I like that. When you have a lot on your mind, you want to get stuff out, you can go for like 2 hours if you wanted to. But other days, it's like, this is what I'm thinking about. We got a half hour, and I'm perfectly cool with that.
Cool.
All right. So everybody who tuned in today, thank you so much for checking it out. Those of you who check it out after the fact, we appreciate you just the same. What do we got? We got the variety show coming up on Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then Tuesday is the next wrestling show, WWE Talk Squared Circle Sessions with Justin and Aaron. Nothing else big on my mind. Mike, do you have anything big coming up at the shop? Any kind of events people need to know about within the next 2 weeks?
There's a ton of crap going on for the next few weeks. I'm slammed up in tomorrow's Magic pre-release. I got May 9th is the Attack on Titan Apocalypse pre-release for Universes. I think May something or other is the new Pokemon set that I want to say that drops. I'm slammed all year. The new Warhammer figures drop. The new Old World models drop for that. I got new D&D books coming in. I have, Keystone Minis along with something else. I want to say, I forget her name. God bless, I will remember. Is Short Circuit Miniatures is Shelby's new little endeavor, and they got the Squanch coming out. I have the new paint set for Monuments dropping tomorrow. I have to paint the fridge red so it looks like a Nuka-Cola machine. I got 1,000 things going on, my friend.
That's awesome. So, guys, make sure you get down to Dragon's Den Games and Hobbies on Main Street in Honesdale. It is 552. I think I remember that correct from all the times we see
552 Main Street.
Beautiful ad that you are about to see in just a few seconds. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you all later.
Later, bro.
Today's episode is sponsored by Dragon's Den Games and Hobbies.
You can visit them at 552 Main Street in Honesdale, PA, or call them at 570-647-46